Have you ever played a Fire Emblem game and thought to yourself, my word, these teenagers with colourful hair sure seem to be chirpy considering the horrors of war they face on a nigh-on daily basis? Well, whatever your answer to that question, let's talk about it. Fire Emblem is a tactical RPG with fantasy theming, initially beginning during a time when some games were Japanese only, and the only way to play them would be devoting your free time to learning a new language and bettering yourself as a person. Or you could always just wait for some sociopath to create a ROM hack that translates the entire game for you. With Marth and Roy turning up in Smash Bros., Fire Emblem debuted in Western countries on the GBA with Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade, one of my favourites. We're now 21 years on from that, and have seen a number of Fire Emblem games in the West, but I'll focus mostly on the recent entry of Fire Emblem Three Houses. Three Houses takes place in a medieval-style fantasy setting where three nations exist within an uneasy and inevitably fragile peace. The first half of the game takes place at the Officers' Academy, where there are three different houses, each linked with one of the three nations. It's very Harry Potter. Throughout the first half of the game, the player, who ends up becoming a teacher at the school, is encouraged to develop relationships with various characters and students, while also training them for their future role as leaders both political and military. The game encourages the player to build these bonds in multiple ways, but it does so by using the carrot approach of providing a numerical advantage in combat by developing these bonds, and also by providing character development and plot through the development of these bonds. A large majority of the game is spent going for meals with students, choosing which students will learn, supporting them with their issues within and outside of the academy. You are supposed to like these characters. You are expected to become attached to them. But Fire Emblem is about war. The students of the Officers' Academy are, by all metrics, child soldiers. They are sent out to kill bandits, beasts, and eventually even each other. As the game progresses and the three nations go to war, students end up on different sides of the conflict battling one another, frequently to the death. And that is what Fire Emblem is all about. One of the aspects of Three Houses that people are split on is whether adding the lack of permadeath for characters or not ruins the game. Fire Emblem is a series known for permadeath, which is where if a character dies in battle, they are gone forever. You will not see them again. They are done. Even if they haven't died in canon, they are not available for selection anymore. This is a system that increases the tension and intensity of decisions you make during each map, but also it makes you really value the characters. It's much easier to care about your fella on a horse with a stick when if you don't keep your eye on him, then he'll die forever. The game does not shy away from death. When characters die, it's tragic. When characters kill, it's also tragic. There are times where characters are killed, unavoidably due to the conflict and narrative pathway, and it is treated as a tragedy and a peril of war. The narratives presented represent the character's choice between the options available and the beliefs of the three main characters, Edelgard, Claude, and Dimitri, and they're all shown to be on paths that are immovable. Peace is just not an option. And these characters have a lot of war-related trauma. Dimitri's arc is a fantastic telling of someone who is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Dimitri suffers psychotic episodes, he has delusions and hallucinations, headaches, nightmares, and disassociation, all symptoms of someone with PTSD. And the game seems to present this to be the case. We are shown Dimitri in a way that makes us recognise the effect that war has had on him. Edelgard too shows symptoms of PTSD, explaining that she has nightmares related to a previous trauma explored in her backstory, as well as a large amount of dissociative amnesia. I'm not going to subject myself to getting into discussions about actions taken in the game by either character, but it's clear to see that war and trauma that stems from the direct and indirect consequences of war has a profound and detrimental impact on these characters. But conversely, Fire Emblem is also a very light-hearted game. A lot of the support conversations between two characters designed to strengthen their bond, will often focus on singular characteristics and frequently have a comedic element to them. The academy is often very jaunty, and pre-time skip, the feel is very much, we're training for war, but it's just all a bit of fun and games, really. There's frequently tonal whiplash, where some points you might be in the outcome of a battle that led to some fairly depressing revelations or outcomes for characters, and next thing you know, you're in a goofy cutscene about Linhardt being a sleepy boy. And you might think I'm being critical here, and to an extent I am, but I'm also of the mind that that's actually just how it is sometimes. War is no laughing matter, but humour is a coping mechanism that is often utilised. In difficult times, comic relief is valuable, and I find that really interesting in how it's presented in Fire Emblem. I think this is why I find Free Heroes so engaging and have yet to engage with Fire Emblem Engage. It gives me serious, intense depictions of what it means to be a young person in a world engulfed in war and trauma, whilst balancing that with the fantastical and humorous elements that avoid the game becoming a trudge of misery. Well, that's it from me. What do you think about the balance of seriousness and comedy in Fire Emblem? Should I get into Fire Emblem Engage? Let me know in the comments. Alright, see ya!